name is Elise and I'm on the product team here at Easol. I'm so excited to introduce you to a brand new series. It's called Easol Demos. It'll take you on a step-by-step walkthrough of new product features. So you can see how they work, but then also how to use them to help grow your business. A big part of my role at Easol is understanding your needs, our global community of experience creators. I want to understand not only what's working, but then also how we can improve the platform to help you grow. Outside of work, fitness is a really big love of mine. I train for triathlons, and I'm actually training for my first marathon later this year. I'm also a massive live music fan. I MC for So Far Sounds in my free time and go to gigs probably weekly. Today, I'm going to introduce you to a brand new feature that will help you grow: Book by Enquiry. We know that your customers like to have flexibility when it comes to booking experiences. And while some like to book online and instantly, others like to ask questions and gain confidence in your business before transacting. A recent customer travel report actually found that 70% of customers like to book online instantly, while 30% prefer to inquire first and ask those questions. That means you could be leaving sales on the table by not offering inquiry forms on your site. In the past, you've accepted custom requests either offline or via email, with no clear way of tracking those requests, turning them into bookings, or converting those leads. With inquiry forms, you can create a custom form that either lives on a dedicated page or within an existing page on your website, customizing the fields that you want your customers to fill out. And the best part is that any form submissions automatically pull through to your dashboard, where you can assign a team member, but then also create a recommendation of products that you propose for that customer. Book by Enquiry will help you generate leads, demonstrate interest ahead of a launch, and convert larger group bookings. Today, I'll walk you through a few scenarios so you can see exactly how this should be used, and then I'll take you on a step-by-step walkthrough to set up a form, set it live on your website, and then manage incoming requests to convert your bookings. Let's get started. There are many practical applications for Book by Enquiry, and I'm going to walk you through 3 examples across different verticals. Scenario 1. Customer Sarah is a seasoned festival goer, but she only likes to stay in accommodations that are walking distance to the festival. She sends you an inquiry, specifying her interest in booking a package, but wanting to understand her options for accommodations before booking. Solution. You create a recommendation, giving her a package for her friends and also a rental accommodation that is close to the festival. You can now also add her to your mailing list, so you can send her updates about on-sale dates and upcoming events. Scenario 2. Customer Luca is a well-connected sailing enthusiast, and he's interested in booking one of your sailing experiences, but has already visited many of the locations that you offer. Luca fills out an inquiry, specifying a few locations that he knows are popular among his community, and also adding a couple add-ons that he knows will enhance your current product offering. Solution. You track inquiries based on location in your monthly reporting, eventually deciding to add the Maldives based on popular demand. You then follow up with Luca and his friends to join the inaugural trip. Scenario 3. Customer Julia is throwing a surprise birthday party for her friend and wants to request a custom package for 20-plus guests at your venue, renting out 5 bowling lanes, bar space, and a private karaoke room, and also allocating a price per head for food and drink. Solution. You create a custom recommendation immediately, using your birthday package as a starting point, but then customizing based on the needs of the group. You also upsell them on the VIP package, which includes cake and champagne for each participant at a discounted rate. As you can see, the use cases are endless, so let's jump into how you set up Book by Enquiry so you can see the value for yourself. Setting up fields. For the first step, once you've logged into the Easol platform, you click Settings in the left toolbar, and then scroll down to Custom Data. Custom data allows you to capture information about your guests and your bookings via fields that you set up. And we've newly added a section for inquiry forms, so you can set up the fields you'd like to include in your form. So if you click into inquiry forms here, this will show you all the fields that you've created that can be added to any form that you put on your website. You'll select the specific data fields that you want to include in your form in the next step. So here, if we scroll down, you can see different examples. So phone number, which is a single line of text. You could have how many people would be attending, which is just a whole number. When would you like to host? So of course, including a date is usually a good choice. Where would you like to host? So you could have different location options there. And then if you want to add your own or add a new custom field, you go to here. So for an example, let's just add a display name. You could do something like, what is the request? It could be really high level, or more specific, like what experience are you interested in? Reference label, this is basically a title or name that you don't want shown externally. Something like booking type or product, so you can classify the request for your team. Hint text is external facing, and this can be used to guide the customers on how to complete the field on your website. So you could add something like select all that apply, include area code and your phone number. For this, we're going to say select a location or mention a new one. And then here's how you actually set up the data type. There's a lot of different options here, from single line of text, multi-line, date and time, a checkbox, and an integer. So we're going to have multiple choice single select here. You can add all the options that you'd like to include, and then you can select if the field is required. So once you've set up your fields, the next step is to actually create your inquiry form and then select the fields that you want to display on that form. So for this next step, you'll go back into settings here in the left toolbar, and you'll scroll down to inquiry forms. So you can see that we've set up a couple forms already. The most basic is probably a contact form. Another option is a private event or a group event. But another good use case here is a corporate booking. So let's set that up by adding a new form here. So you want to add a name, so corporate booking. Click save. And then there are a few fields that auto-populate for every form. So first name, last name, and email address will auto-populate because of course you want to be able to contact the customers that get in touch. But from there, you'll be able to add the fields that you set up earlier in custom data. So to add those, you go into edit and then click add field. So if we are setting up a corporate booking, we want to have a phone number so you can contact them. You want to understand how many people will be attending. We can add in what we created earlier, so what experiences are you most interested in? And then maybe we just want to have a comment section so a customer can leave whatever notes they have for you. Then you go down here and you click save. And then these are all of the details that would display in your contact form. Once you've created your form by adding in all the fields, you're now ready to add that form to your website. So for this next step, you want to go into your site builder, which is here. By clicking site, you'll open up all the pages that you've created and added to your website. So again, with inquiry forms, you have the flexibility to either create a dedicated page for your form, for example, a contact page, or you can click into a page that you've already created and added an inquiry form block to that page. Today, we're just going to create a brand new page. So let's click into add a page. And then if you go to general, we actually have a blank inquiry page block already ready for you. Okay, so we're going to call this an inquiry page, just keeping it basic. And then we're going to add in our block. Click add. And then here, you'll start to see it populate with all of your information. So we're going to call this a corporate booking request. You can see the title add, and of course you have the flexibility to change your font size and your color and all that here. And then by clicking form, you'll be able to add your form to the page. So now you can see all the information, so the auto-populated fields here, and then the fields that you chose for this form below that. And you can see that they're starred because they're required. And your button text you can also change if you'd like to update that. And then you also have the flexibility to change the design on this form as well. So you can change the site color, your heading size, some of the style, and then also your padding and more of that information here. You can even add an image if you'd like to. So let's save that. And then you can see that your page is all set up with your inquiry form. For this next step, I'm actually going to fill out the inquiry form so you can see how it populates on the Easol backend. So I'm going to add my own information here. And click send. So it'll say inquiry submitted here. And then your next step is to go back to the Easol platform. So you go here, and then you're going to go into inquiries, which is a brand new tab that we've added, and that'll have all of your inquiries in one place. And one of the really handy features here is that you can sort of sort them by received, in progress, resolved, or closed. So it's not overwhelming, and you can track the status of the inquiries that you're getting. And then another handy feature is that you can actually assign team members to an inquiry to manage and work through that request. All you have to do here is click the icon, and then you can set your assignee here. And then another way of accessing this is by clicking into a request. So let's click my inquiry here, and you can see that the status, which you can update based on how you've kind of triaged it to in progress, resolved, or closed. And then you can see the assignee here as well. And then you can also leave a note so anyone else on your team can pick that back up and understand the status of that request. And then a really nice piece is that you can actually create a recommendation directly from the inquiry itself. So you'll see here, recommendation was successfully created, and in the next step, I'll show you how to actually manage those recommendations. Creating that recommendation and filling out the products or packages that you would like to include in that recommendation. So we created it from the inquiry, and to view, you go into bookings, recommendations, and you'll see that it has pulled through here. And you'll see a very similar board to what you have in the inquiries tab. So it's created, opened, booked, and expired. And then you can click into here and actually start to customize that request. So the basics, we can edit this. It could either be corporate request, it could be the name of the request, or it could even be like what you're creating for them. So we could say corporate retreat in June. Their customer email, a message. It's good to add something that's really personal that shows that you're tailoring this and making this specifically for that customer. Guest count would be 8. And then stock expiry date, this is something that you basically are saying how long you're planning to hold that inventory for them. So I set June 7th. You can add an image if you choose. And then you can also set custom terms and conditions, which is usually pretty handy for those more custom requests. They're larger bookings, they could be technically riskier. You want to make sure that you have terms that speak to that risk. Let's click save. And then if you go into view booking, this is where you'll actually be able to add your products or your packages that you want to recommend for them. So edit booking, and then you can add items, you can add packages if you choose. And then you can actually create a designated page that you can send to that customer with their recommendation request. And that wraps up our Book by Enquiry walkthrough. We hope you found the demo useful. To recap, Book by Enquiry will help you 1. Generate leads, 2. Demonstrate interest ahead of a launch, and 3. Convert larger group bookings. If you have any further questions, you can always get in touch with our team at support@easol.com. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you next time.